So let's start with basic seals and definitions. This is real brief because when we get into these apps for your phone, that's where a lot of the detail is. But every pump that's got a seal has got some kind of seal, either like this one or the other two that I'm going to show you here. But I mean, you can walk over to the Waco warehouse and you'll see what 2 dozen US seals like this component seal here. It's a spring, a stationary and rotating face, and some elastomers, and it's basically an internal seal that doesn't have any kind of gland housing. We call it a component seal. Uh, what Smith Pump sells the most of in terms of dollars, well, let me back up. Most of the seals that we see in terms of numbers are the component seal. In terms of dollars, we're dealing with the split seal more because of the type of pumps that we mainly work on, which a split seal works really well for a vertical turbine pump because it's real easy to install and remove it. You don't have to remove the motor to get the seal out with a split seal. And same thing with a horizontal split case pump. That one's got two seals because the shaft comes out of either side of the pump. And it's a booger bear to get a cartridge seal or a component seal off the shaft in a split case pump. So the split seal fits really well. Little bit troublesome in assembly. It's something that's easy to mess up during assembly, although they're getting easier and easier all the time. And the FlowServe split seal is one of the easiest to install that is out there right now. But what we're here to talk about is the cartridge seal. That one's been around forever. Um, and the split seal is the new guy on the block. Um, and if you had a split seal, why in the world would you even want a cartridge seal? Well, the split seal, the downside of the split seal is it's split. And if you look, all those sealing faces, those elastomers, those O-rings and pieces that have to come together and seal, they don't always seal. And so the split seal, we allow a little leakage as normal. Um, but if you're pumping some kind of petroleum product, uh, you can't use a split seal because you can't afford to have any leakage. If you have a leakage, you got to catch it and you got to contain it. And so the cartridge seal became um, the go-to seal for the oil and gas industry, even though it was 5 times more expensive than the component seal. And that's because the component seal, you basically have to have the piece of equipment totally apart and you have to assemble it. And it's really kind of difficult to get it right and not crack the faces, not get it cocked. There's just a lot of pitfalls in seal assembly. The cartridge seal is the easiest to install because you just bolt it in. Um, you lock the rotating portion of the seal to the shaft or the shaft sleeve, and then you pull the keepers out or the setting tabs, uh, and it's ready. It's ready to go, and it shouldn't leak. You shouldn't see any leakage with this type of seal. So that's the reason for them. Um, Drilling down a little bit on the component seals, Pack Seal is a brand name that's now part of FlowServe, but it basically is the same type of seal that if you went to the Waco warehouse and pulled out one of those US seals, you'd see a seal like the one on the top here. It's either got a set of bellows for springs or it's got a coil spring, and that's to allow axial movement relative to the stationary face of the seal, which is set in the seal housing of the pump. So, not going to dwell on this because it's not our topic, but they're used everywhere. I mean, the applications are anywhere you got a pump, you can use a seal like this. Um, the split seal is the one that we sell the most of. It's the easiest to remove and reinstall. It's a little bit persnickety on installation, but as split seals go, it's the easiest one that I've seen to install. You know, you can look at the bottom right, you can see materials and construction for the stationary face, the rotor face, the metal parts, the springs, the secondary seals, operating limits up to 450 psi, pretty good temperature range. Uh, you know, at 41.7 feet per second doesn't register with me for speed, but I think that's up to 3,600 RPM, so it works at higher speeds as well. And size is up to 6 inch. So, and these are you know, advantages, features, benefits, if you will, uh, of the split seal. So let's not dwell on this. That's not our topic today. Here's the cartridge seal. This is the Flowserve cartridge seal. They make all kinds of seals. This is their standard cartridge seal, this particular one. And you can see operating parameters. You know, if it's a pusher type seal, which is, that means a spring, compression spring, it's good for 300 psi. The bellows type spring is good for 200. Speeds up to 3,600 RPM and some other stuff. They go up to an 8-inch seal. And there's a lot of features, and this is not really important for our discussion. It's just information about this seal. This seal is applied in pump applications all over the world.